We are living through one of the most disorienting times in recent memory. The whole world is changing. Plans change, technology changes, we're changing, relationships. The speed of the world is going faster and it's a lot. It's destabilizing. So in this video, I'm not gonna teach you how to make things stop because secret is you can't, but how to stay centered in yourself and how to change your own relationship to change. Because what's on the other side of that, not only your intuition and your spirit, but grace, and to get out of overdoing or trying to figure it out, back to presence and support. Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a fourth generation intuitive, and I teach you how to plug back into your innate divine compass, your intuition. And today we're talking about transitions, and this is so important. And some of the things that I will teach you in this video are why transitions are so destabilizing and why it's actually normal. What's really happening when you get lost and swept up and caught up, and how to stay anchored within yourself, and why transition are actually the most powerful spaces that we can be, that actually are signals that we are up leveling in our world, and how our intuition is truly the guiding force of that. So I am first thinking of a client. I have a client who recently just left her marriage and her job and is currently living in a tiny apartment. She called me wondering what the absolute heck I'm doing. She knew that it was time for a change, and then she did it. So now her head is spinning, trying to figure it out. What do I have to do next? How do I have to make more money? And the speed goes faster and faster and faster until not only overwhelm, but freak out. Transition, it's tough. So instead of trying to solve the problem, which often leaves us in a state constantly of overworking, overdoing, instead what I always think of as one of my favorite Alan Watts quotes is, muddy water is best cleared when left alone. So instead of trying to speed up through liminal space and the discomfort of that, of just inviting more grace. And so one of a simple tool that I'll share with you immediately off the bat, first, just rub your hands together and pull it apart. Feel that dance of energy between your hands, and put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, and just take a breath. And just feel that for yourself, even as you allow yourself grace to transition here into present time. Now, when we are looking at transition, what we're really doing is we're creating a whole new energy, a new identity, a new state. It's not necessarily about the circumstances. We're in the in-between. And when we're in transitions, first, our mind, our little ego barking dog, it wants certainty. So it's gonna go to figuring it out. We feel that in our bodies. It brings up emotions that oftentimes are uncomfortable. So we either want control or check out or feel flooded. And, our ego, again, control. It's like, I wanna be certain, I wanna know the outcome before I even make a simple decision. And that shows up as overthinking, rushing, procrastination, forcing yourself into situations or places or relationships that no longer serve or honor you because it's what's familiar. So there's just part of us on a human level that wants to escape the discomfort because it's hard, it's challenging. And when we do that, we'll do everything, our little brains will do everything we can to not feel the tension of liminal space, when really it's an invitation. So it's not the change itself that throws you off, it's the pace that we frenetically try and control, and there we get stuck in our heads. We get disconnected from our spirit, we get disconnected from our center, we get disconnected from our true yes, from our true no, what honors our spirit. We often get pulled into other external chaos, whether that's other people's drama or the news or Facebook or whatever it is. And we can notice anytime and just think to yourself, is there a moment, when am I most susceptible to getting caught up in other people's blah, blah, blah? Even the other day, I was just thinking about me feeling very rushed to do a million different things, feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and agreed to do a podcast and that I didn't want to. But in that moment of being rushed and not recognizing that I myself was in transition, that I said yes as a way to cross something off my list. Tiny way, micro self-abandonment. Now, when we can start instead to notice the energy when we're in transition, like I said, are things going fast? Are we speeding up? Are we feeling it in your body? Are we into overwhelm and figuring it out? Then we can take a breath. Because when there's a storm, if there's no anchor, you will get swept away. I live in New Orleans, I see it bad down the hatches. So the truth is your intuition does not rush. Your intuition speaks to you in the present moment. And one of my favorite definitions is it's the art of deep listening. And we're not listening to words, we're listening to vibration. And in order to create that space to listen, we have to pause. We have to make a choice to open up and to be curious to the deeper, wiser part of ourselves. Because what we're really seeking in moments of transition is connection. We're looking for something, and that comes from our heart, not from our heads. So one of the ways is just even accessing for yourself. Am I in transition? This could be big things, job, work, relationship, moving, or it might be little transitions. For example, I work from home, and because of that, that means that my office is right next to my bedroom. So unintentionally, I can do my spiritual routine, then transition right into work, then get into that whole flow, and then try and transition back into my regular life. That really, what I see and what I notice to be true, has me in overdoing. Instead of micro ways of honoring different spaces, that gives us the permission to pause, to anchor into ourself, because your intuition doesn't rush. One of my favorite quotes is, if you ever feel like it's actually an emergency, it's not an emergency. It's not, unless you need to dial 911. So again, of seeing that busyness, that chaos, that procrastination, that overwhelm, not as a head issue, but an issue of our deeper parts that want to feel supported, want to feel connection. And that first connection is the one to your spirit. Just like I showed you, and I've shared in all of my videos, you can rub your hands together, pull them apart, place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and just take a breath. And just drop your center of awareness from your head space to your heart space. You'll notice that the chatter will start to quiet as you start to anchor in to your spirit. It's a very different feeling. It's a very different feeling than the head voice. And even better, name it out loud. Be curious. What is the energy and essence of your spirit? What does it feel like? Give it language. Is it grounded? Is it wise? Is it playful? Say it out loud. When we say it out loud, our throat is the chimney to our hearts and our heads, and we start to claim and anchor in that vibration instead of just thinking about it. The more that we say it out loud, we also train our mind to be in service and to affirm what we experience, what we feel, what as true, instead of just a thought. So that very simple practice can go a very, very, very long way. Now, when we are in moments of transition, like I said, what it brings up are emotions. And you know what? A lot of times we're not good at feeling. So in anchoring into our deeper, wiser self, we can invite in feelings which aren't good or bad and come in as sensations into our bodies that our heads want to make stories of, but are telling you what's important to you. For example, maybe you're ready to leave a relationship and everything in you is excited, but you're experiencing grief. Maybe even it's just grief of moving. Maybe it's just grief of change or feeling like you don't have enough time. Or maybe it's excitement, like I just can't wait to experience that. Or maybe fear, I'm afraid. Or even relief, like thank God. When we can invite these sensations, these temple guardians to our heart space, into our whole self, to integrate them as signals, then we don't get into spiritual bypassing, but we actually come into wholeness, giving ourselves grace for our human experience. Because truth of the matter is, it's hard out here to be a human. We very brave to incarnate. That's the truth. So within anchoring into that wisdom of your heart space and moving down, slowing down, you allow yourself to go at your own pace. It changes the whole dynamic. We, instead of constantly reacting to the energy around us in emergency, we can come from a place that responds, that has a different awareness. So first, I'll just say, pay attention. What are you feeding your head? Are you in other people's chaos? Are you in trying to figure it out? Are you disconnected from your body? Are you in a lot of overwhelm? I gave you already 2 tools. So if you are experiencing that, another tool that I love to use is look at one thing and take 3 deep breaths. Just keeping your focus right there. Practice this and you'll notice that really it slows down the information energy onslaught as we start to come back to home number 1, spirit home number 2. Second, move your body. When we move energy. We can discharge a lot of that anxiety or fear or grief or any of it in a way that is contained and important. And most importantly, the way that we can practice this and the way that I'm trying to practice this is in micro ways in my day. As I mentioned earlier, taking a moment to transition through each part of your day. For me, that could look like, getting up, brushing my teeth, taking a breath and arriving as I practice my spiritual routine. Taking a breath, having breakfast. When I walk into my office, taking a breath and allowing myself to arrive, to slow down the rush and to be intentional about creating energetic spaces as a way to honor yourself, to honor your time instead of constantly getting into what's next. This is our big reset. And if you're in a really, really, really big transition, somebody asked me this earlier, like, what can I do? Most important, create a routine for yourself. Create a very simple 5-minute routine that you promise to do every day. That can be meditation, walking, yoga, singing and dancing to a song. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's about the intention and it's about the regularity. See, as I said, ego mind wants control, wants certainty. When we're in uncertainty and there's not a solution yet, how we can support our human parts of ourselves is by giving them a little island of certainty. Then we know what we have to look forward to. No matter what's going on the rest of my day, today, in this moment, I know that today and tomorrow and the next day, I'm going to sit down and, let's say, play my song and dance and sing. Truly, it creates security and helps to train the parts that get overwhelmed to trust our spirit, because also making that promise and following through on it is a way that we teach our human parts to trust our adult selves, to trust our spirit, and to know that we can follow through. It's really important. Make a promise to yourself, and if every day is too much, then check in with what you actually have capacity for and show up for it. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're in a state of transition, know that I am sending you all my love. To honor your emotions, to honor your spirit, to honor your courage, and also to be open, and I'm so excited for what you create next. And just notice in giving and honoring transitions in big ways and little ways of how it changes not only your energy, but how you are in the world, allowing your brilliant light to shine. Because as my Nana would say, you cannot improve upon your spirit, only allow more of it. If you like this video, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. How do you honor transitions? What are some of the tools that you use? And as always, if you want to work with me, I do readings and mentoring. You can learn more on my website, soniatully.com. And don't forget to check out my Instagram, Sonia Tully Official. And I'm sending you all my love. See you next week. Oh, also like, subscribe, do all those things. Yes. All right. Bye.